So now we will understand how to automate REST API. REST API is designed to automate REST API services. For that, first we have to create Maven project and add dependencies in pom.xml file. You're very well aware with pom.xml, guys, where we add all the dependencies related to that particular project. For this, we need REST assured Java, that is the dependency, TestNG, JSON simple, and Apache POI and POI OXML. So these are the dependency we require. Please go ahead and open your Eclipse IDE. So first thing we're going to do is we'll create Maven project. So for that, we'll go to File, New. You can choose Maven project if you have option over there. Otherwise, you can click on Projects and choose Maven project. Click on Next. Create simple project. Again, click on Next, and here you can give group ID. So here I'm going to keep it as REST API, and here we will write REST API underscore, let's say, automation. You can give any valid name over here, and here you can provide name if you want to. So let's say I'm just naming it as API automation. That's it. We can click on finish, and you will see one Maven project will get created over here. So this is REST API automation. If you double click on it, you will see these folders, which are SRC main Java, SRC main resources, test Java, test resources, and this is your pom.xml. If you want, you can keep these resources over here, but right now for this project, I don't require it. So I'm going to delete this resources section, although you can keep it if you want. It's not going to harm, but it's going to make my code look a little complicated. So I'm just removing it. So I do have these two folders now, SRC main Java and SRC test Java. This is my pom.xml. Guys, if you have worked on Maven project, you can understand in pom.xml, we add dependencies. So this is my local repository, and I will be fetching data from the remote repository by adding its dependency. So if we open pom.xml, you will see that it is now looking like that. There is no dependency clause over here because we created simple project. Simple Maven project will not have any dependencies tag over there. So for that, you can just go to name, click here, enter, and here you can just write dependencies. Whenever you will complete it, your closing tag will appear automatically. Just enter in between. So this is how it should look like. You don't need any extra steps for that. Only add dependencies tag. Because we have created simple project, guys, for that we have to add manually dependencies. So dependencies, and here I'm closing the tag, and in between you can add all the software's dependencies which you want for this particular project. So guys, first dependency I need for it is REST assured Java. I'll click on the browser. Here I will write Maven repository. Open your Maven repository. And here you have all the softwares which are there on the remote repository of Maven, and you can use their dependencies into your pom.xml. So here I will be first writing REST assured Java. You can write, search for it. And this is the first link I'm looking for. Double click on it. Go to its stable version, because if you think first version is not stable, it is beta version or alpha version, don't go for it. So if it is stable version, that means it's not beta or alpha. You can click on them. This is your dependency code. Select it. Just you have to click on it. It will be selected automatically. Copy it. So Control C. Go to your pom.xml, and here you will paste it. So this is how you can add REST assured API dependency from remote repository of Maven into your local repository. Now next is TestNG. So again, you will go to Maven repository, write down over here TestNG, search. So this is my first link for TestNG. I'll click on that. This is my stable version. Look at this, guys. When after 6.14.3, we have beta versions. So we will not selecting it. Beta version means it is still, it is unstable, it is under testing. And then the real version, stable version got released. So you can now go ahead with this version because this is stable. Copy it, go to this pum.xml, paste it. Now we'll again go to Maven repository. Here you will search for JSON simple, search for it. This is the first link I'm going to click on. Again, this is the stable version. We will choose this, copy, go to your pum.xml, paste it. So till now we have copied and pasted three dependencies. One is rest assured, testng, JSON simple. You can also go ahead and add Apache POI. So for that, again, we'll go to Maven. Here I can write Apache POI, search for it. So whenever, guys, we have to add Apache POI, it's not just Apache POI, we add this one also. That is POI-OOXML. This is just add on with it. So both of them we will be adding. So first, let's get started with this. This is the stable version. Copy this, go to pum.xml, paste it. So you can do same thing with second. Go to, and this is what we have. Click on it. Stable version. Copy this. So now let's cross check. We do have rest assured, testng, JSON simple, Apache POI, and Apache POI OOXML. So if we compare them with the list we have rest assured Java, testng, JSON simple, Apache POI, POI OOXML. So we added all of them. Now let's say Control S, save it. When you go to Maven dependencies, you will see all of them. You can collapse it. That's it. Here, if you want, guys, instead of test for testng, instead of test, you can change it to compile. Then it can compile your test cases. So we'll write compile here. And now it's very simple. We'll go to our src test Java and start making our project. So first test case I'm going to create is for the get call. So let's say I'm going to automate get call. So what I'm going to do is I'll right click on this src test Java. Let's create one package. So new package. So here you can give any meaningful name. So let's say REST API calls. Discouraged package name. By convention, package name usually start with lowercase letters. So yes, package name is also case sensitive. Usually they recommend it should start with the lowercase. So I'm changing capital R to lower R. And here we will finish it. So my package got created. So under src test Java, I created this package. And now I will start making the classes. So new. And first, I'm going to create class for get call. So let's say I'm naming it as http_get. I'm not including main method, guys, because I'm going to use testng. And you can understand testng means you will be creating your methods in testng. And that's why we don't need any main method for it. So I'm just going to give name as http_get and click on finish. So it should look like this. So first test case I want to work on, how you work on the test cases, guys. First, you're going to refer your Excel sheet on which you have written the test cases. So my first test case is fetching list of users. So it is test case number 1 underscore list of users. Description is fetching list of all available users. Now endpoint URL is your server's URL. So we'll go to this website over here. I'm going to pick this URL because this is my endpoint URL. I'll put it over here. Next is the method, type of method I'm going to use. I'm going to use get call. Service URL is a URL of my API. This is my service URL. I'm going to copy this. So here I will put it over there. Okay, body, because this is a get call, so no body I'm passing over there. So there is no payload. Body means payload. So there is no payload for it. I can write it over here. Body means payload. So we don't have any payload and there is any success response. So let's check. So this is my success response. I'm going to copy this and I'll put it over here. And if you go to the status code, it's also specified over there. So what status code is required is specified over here. This is 200. So I'm going to copy this also, and we will be putting it in status code. My sheet is completed. So this is my test case, guys. By keeping this in mind, I'm going to write my test cases in automation in Maven project. So we'll go to our Eclipse IDE. First thing is, because this is test-ng, I'm going to make a method. I'll write void, let's say HTTP get. I'm just naming anything, guys. This is my method name. And after this, here you will start writing your code. So I'm going to let you know how we start step by step. So let's say my step number 1 is, I will be specifying base URI. So specify endpoint URI or base URL. So specify endpoint or base URL. So this is my first step. How I'm going to do it? First, you will write rest assured. Whenever you will write rest assured dot, you will see all the methods related to it. I'm going to specify base URI. So I will choose this. And here I will write assign, and you will give your base URI here. If you want, you can copy your base URI from the Excel sheet, or you can copy it from the website you have. So here I will be copying it from my test case. This is my end URI. I'll say Control C and put it over here. So Control V. You will have some extra things copied also. Remove it. And this is how it should look. Remove these things too. Semicolon. So this is how you specify your endpoint URL. So guys, as we can understand that API works on two things. One is request and second is response. So client is sending the request and server is sending the response. So we will be creating two things here. First is request object and second is response object. So step number 2 is you will be creating request object. So create request object for type of request. Maybe it's a get call, it's a post call, put call, delete call. So for that, you need to create a object. So request object for type of request. Now how we create it? Let's see that. For that, we will be first writing request specification. It is case sensitive, guys, so you will be writing in the same case. So request specification, and here you can pass any variable name. I'm just writing the variable name as HTTP request. It is any variable name, guys. You can write anything over here. And then you will be writing rest assured dot given. I will be explaining it to you. So this is the complete line. Here you can import it. If you're getting red line beneath request specification, please import it. So rest assured dot given means it will fetch the request and it will store it in this particular object or variable. So here the request fetched will be stored. So whatever request we will be fetching, it will be stored in this particular variable. So now we will be creating response. So for that, step number 3 is create response object. So in order to store response or create object for response, we will be writing response HTTP response. Again, this is any variable name. You can name it anything. So HTTP response is actually my variable name. And here I will write, here you will be writing HTTP request. This is your name of variable which you have written over here. Anything you have written over there that you will be referring here. So HTTP request dot choose request from here. So request, and here in between you will be writing method. I will explain it to you. So method dot So method dot means this request is actually for which method. So I'm doing it for get method. So I will choose get here, comma. Here you will pass your service URL, API's URL in simple words, your service URL where you are checking your API. So in inverted quotes, let me copy it from my test case. So this is my service URL. I want to get the request from this URL. You can paste it over here. If you get anything extra, guys, please remove it, because when you copy paste, some extra special character get added. So you can remove them, close this, terminate it with semicolon. Let's understand this. First of all, let's import this response. Now understand this. So guys, how it works. First, we will send the request. The request will have the type of request we are having on the URL. So whatever we will fetch from there, it will get stored in HTTP response, because that's the response. So the code, which is maybe 200 code or whatever the response is, it will actually get stored in this. But how the response will come? Response will come from the request we made. So here we said HTTP request dot, and what is the request type? Request is method I'm using is get, and I'm using it on the URL. Service URL is this. So now what rest assured will do, it will actually send this request on this URL, and they know the type of request is get, method I'm using is get. That request will be stored. Whatever the response will come, it will get stored over here. So here, this line will send the request, method is get. On this page, when the API will hit, response will come, and you will be storing this response is this particular variable. But guys, this response can be in any format, in JSON format or in XML format. As you can understand, body can be in any format. But I want to make it readable, because if you want to use it in your REST API like automation, you need to make it readable. So what I want to do is, I'll say whatever the body of response is, please convert it into string. So for that, I will write HTTP response, which is my variable, dot get body. So I want to see body of the response. And because I cannot read it, I want it to get converted into string. So as, and here you can write string. So convert it into string. Simple line. So what I want to do, I want to convert the response body into string so that I can read it. Get this response. So this is my response. I said whatever response is stored from here, convert it into string. And because I want to display it, so I'll say string, let's say any variable. So this string, whatever is converted into string, will be stored in response. Let's see. I want to now display it. So system.out.println. So response will be displayed. If you want to cross check, you should always go ahead and run it. Guys, please make sure this slash over here. So if you have slash at the end also, then there will be two slashes, because at the end of the day, it's going to add both of them. So if the slash is here and slash is here also, it's not going to work. So put one slash, then don't put it over here. If you have put it over here, then don't put in front. In order to run it, guys, because this is a test ng, and you remember for test ng, definitely I have to give @test annotation. So I'll write @test. And for that, first, guys, you can add test ng library. Second thing you're going to do is you will import org.test annotation. Don't do org.junit. org.testng annotation. And now you can see it will look like this. Let's see how it's going to work. We have not completed yet, but we want to check whether our code is working or not. So I'm going to click on run. Click on OK. Let's see. Look at this. This is the code I got, and it's a passed, and this is my response code. You can match it with the Excel sheet, which is over here, whether it is coming as same or not. So this is your response code where you should get. And see, here you are getting the same response code or not. You can cross check that. That also we'll learn how to do it. We can do it with assert, but we're going to understand. But till now we understood, okay, it's working fine. It is hitting the right API, and it is working in the same ways as we are expecting. Now we are not done yet. We will be checking the response code, because that is what our expected result is. We already checked what is the response, but now we want to check whether the code is coming in the same way or not. And you can see my expected response code is, if you see my Excel sheet, it is 200. So I want to check whether the response code is coming as expected or not. Next step is to, in order to validate status code, very simple, you will be writing HTTP response, which is your variable name, dot, and here you will write get. Earlier you wrote get body. Now I'm going to write get code. So here you will be writing get status code. It will fetch the status code, but definitely if you want to see it, you have to store it in the variable. And here, let's say my variable name is code. But guys, data type for the code gonna be integer because code is int. It's number which is coming. So code which I'm expecting is 200. So 200 is number. So I cannot store it in string. So here I'm writing int code, and whatever response will come will get stored over here. If you want to display it, you can display it by system.out.println. And here I can write down code. I want to see code. Code C is capital. So I'll write in the same ways. So println, let me just fix it. Okay, so this is how it should show me the code also. Let's again execute and see whether it's showing me the same code or not. I'm clicking on run, click on OK. I'm getting a code as 200. This is my response body. This is the code. But okay, I'm checking it manually, but definitely I'm not writing test cases so that I can go to the console and check it manually. I want system to check whether the code is coming at the same ways or not, or body is coming in the same expected ways or not. So for that, I will be using, you all know about it, that is assertions. So I will be using assert so that system verify whether my expected is same as actual or not. So for that, you will be inserting asserts. Simply, you will be writing assert dot assert, let's say equals. And here, first thing you're going to write is your actual result. And you can see your actual result is coming over here. Actual result is coming from this status code getting stored in code. So I will write actual result is code. And what is my expected result? Expected result, you can see from your test case, your expected result is 200. So you will go and write down that my expected result is 200. Now this is how system gonna cross check that whatever code you are getting, whether this code is giving you the information as expected or not. I'm gonna click on run. Now you got that it passed, and this is my code because I want to display it, but it passed because you put assertion over there. And this is how you can check the body also. Now we will understand what is the status line, guys. Status line is also one of the thing which you can check in APIs. Let's see how we fetch it. Fetching is the same ways. You will write HTTP response dot get, let's say status line. Again, because I fetched it, I will be storing it in one of the variables. So here, string status line assign. So spelling, I will be making it same. So status line, and I'm storing it over here. So what I'm checking here is I'm fetching status line. The status line, guys, it's very simple. You will be one line is always given to you, that is whether it is HTTP, which protocol is there along with the code, and that is called status line. So if you want to display it, let's see how it looks. So I'll write system dot out dot println, and here in the bracket you will be writing status line, whatever your variable name is. So status line, so that is what my variable name is, in which I have stored the status. Let's again execute and see how it works and how it actually looks. This is how your status line looks. Actually, it is HTTP, which protocol it is using, 200 OK. So this is your status line. And this is how you can keep the status line over here. Again, I'm just going to copy this. And now for status line also, I want to validate it. That means I will put, or I will insert assertions over here. So validate status line, very simple. Here also you will write assert equals. So I'm just fetching it from here. Here you can write your actual result. So actual is my status line. And in expected, you can copy it from the Excel sheet, or right now I'm just taking it from here. You can paste it. So this is expected, and status line going to give you actual, and we can verify whether it's working according to the requirements or not. So here you can see it. So here we have it, passed. This is my line and it is passed. Let's say I'm changing it. Instead of 200, I will say it is 201. 201. So here I'm saying expected is 201 and I know actual is 200. Basically I want these assertions to fail. So I'll click on OK. I want to show you when it fails, how it looks like and what is the message you get. So here you have it. So they're saying assertion failed. Expected was 201 but found 200. And that's why it failed. So this is how your assertion failing looks like. So assertion fail, this is how you can cross-check where the APIs are giving you the same information as expected. This is how you can automate. With Postman, you were manually doing it, and this is how you can code it and check it with the automation. So this is for get call.